Hey guys, trying out something a little different this year. Gonna try and do a little bit of video review. Some of you guys might have seen the U11 video already that I did. So I'm just gonna go over, for us, some clips that I noticed from game one. I'm gonna try and stick to some themes. Um, Go over some things for us to learn as a team, a little bit as individuals every once in a while too, but um, I know when I was growing up, it was always felt a lot different on the floor than if I ever saw a video of myself playing up top. So it's always good to get a little bit of a bird's eye view of what's going on down there. So I got some notes over here. You're going to see me every once in a while look over here, look back at the screen. So yeah, let's just get ourselves kicked off here. First thing I want to talk about, some of you guys heard me talking about it on the bench last game. It's a big concept of, if they give us space, we got to take the space, right? So if we ever find them giving us the opportunity to get into a good scoring position, we got to get ourselves in that zone, utilizing that space. So this next example, Connor, is a great opportunity where he could be right in front of the net, and in a really good scoring position. You'll see the ball is going to swing around here, come to the far side, and zoom in a bit on this, but you'll look at that space. See how Connor does a great job here. I believe that's Connor, identifying all this wide open space right in front of the middle of the floor, right? And he runs and attacks that middle of the floor. And you can see it's a little tough here to make this pass because you're under pressure. That's fine. That's not what we're focusing on right now. We're focusing on all this space in the middle of the floor that they're giving us, right? Now, when that pass comes, it's a little tough. It's fine. It is what it is. We didn't make the pass. That's fine. That's not what we're focused on in that moment. That's a really tough pass to make underneath all that pressure. But we did a good job there, Connor, identifying all that space. So this clip, again, starts with the ball on the boards on this side. Again, look at all this space over here. Look at what they're doing. They're watching the ball. They're watching the ball. They're watching the ball. The only person watching this way is this guy, and I think he's staring at us right here, right? So if we've got all this space, there's no reason for us to be standing way out here, right? We can take 3 or 4 steps towards the middle. We can take 3 or 4 steps towards the middle in front of the net, and we're still wide open, right? So we got to identify when there is that space, we got to take that space, right? And instead, we're fading away, we're fading away, we're fading away. Then the same thing happens again. I'm going to pause this right here on the other side of the floor. Look at all this space out in the middle of the floor, right? And again, I believe this is Connor. Does a decent job identifying, but Connor still likes to play pretty low. But if we can get you 1 or 2 steps up a little higher, maybe not so much here, but maybe a little bit more, towards the middle, that gives you more angle on the net, right? Remember, we've always talked about angle on the net. That gives you a little more angle on the net, a little bit better chance of making this goal, right? Same here. You see all this space? Look at where we catch this ball when the ball comes. Look at how far away we are, right? If we catch this ball up here, we've got so much more net to shoot on. Right now, we've taken away a ton of angle, and look at really easy save for the goalie to make, right? Next clip is going to be power play. I believe Meyer sets this one up. We'll just watch it play out. But Meyer does a great job of making space. This is a good example. Comes up, sets a pick, immediately rolls. Look at all the space. The only thing we got to be careful of there, I'm just going to run this one back a little bit, is remember when we were talking about the roll, how you want to use your head, follow the ball? In this case, we end up rolling the wrong way. Look at, your head spins this way as the ball gets passed this way. So what ends up happening is you lose track of the ball. And then as you come back, you're trying to find the ball, and you end up running and fading away from the net to this corner. If we had instead turned our head this way and followed the ball with our head, we'd see that ball the whole time, and we'd be able to attack the middle of the floor, right? This ends up being a really tough shot. You end up tracking it, catching it, but we'd be so much better off. We'd give ourselves so much more space. We end up getting too crowded on the crease and getting a crease call on that one. But we'd have so much more space if we just rolled the right way and attacked towards the middle of the floor, because you'd always see that ball. But it was a great job making space on that play. Next clip, another power play, another wide open space. Look at all that space in the middle of the floor when he makes that pass, right? But again, we're catching way out here. We need to be catching the ball in this area here, right? If they're given all this space, we got to take that space. Becomes a really difficult shot. If we're standing in the middle, it's a really much easier shot, making it much harder on the goalie. Next clip's another power play. This is an example of making space with off-ball movement. You're going to see we got one guy on the wrong side of the floor here. He's going to run to the other side of the floor. Oh. Where's my... There we go. He's going to run to the other side of the floor and watch this defender right here follow him all the way over there, right? And this guy's stuck ball watching over here. Look, the defender goes with him. Pause. Look at all this space again. Right? So we need this guy, instead of being way out here, he needs to identify, hey, I've got all this space in the middle of the floor. Let's take the middle of the floor. Right? Take the middle of the floor. They give you space. Look at, we end up catching that pass way out there, taking a low angle shot. We could have taken a nice, fine, easy, high angle shot. Last clip. I don't think this is the last clip yet. There's one more after this, but this is the same thing. If there is no space, we got to move. We got to move our feet to make space, right? So in this case, we end up kind of standing right in the middle of the floor. And we're not open, right? We're just taking up space in the middle of the floor. This one ends up working. We're going to go back because I think Connor makes a really good shot. But if the space isn't there, we got to move our feet, clear out. What's that going to end up happening, like you saw in that last clip? We're going to take defenders with us. And when we take defenders with us, we're going to open up the floor for our teammates on this side to end up taking that space, right? Because this defender's on you. If you cut down this way or cut across this way, that defender's going to follow you. And we got a 2-on-1 on the other side now, right? So if the space isn't there, if we got somebody on us, we got to keep our feet moving. Connor does a nice little dodge here. Cuts through two defenders there again. Gets a nice shot, so it works out on that play. This is another one where we end up just standing in the middle of the front of the net, right? Can't just stand there. All we're doing is taking up space in the middle of the net. We're not making it easy for our teammates to generate that space and use it, right? Yeah, again, still, 3 guys just stand and watch and stand and watch. Still. Yeah. Next concept. We talked about it last game. We gotta stop letting people behind us. We're really, really slow on the defensive transition right now. This is a great example where we lose the ball, and you're gonna see how long it takes us to react. And once we react, how slow and casually we're kind of reacting to that, right? So this one, loose ball battle in the corner. We end up losing the ball here. And look nobody's running yet. Nobody's running. Now we're just casually running back, and they got 2 guys behind us. Catch, great scoring opportunity for them. Right, we happen to get back just in time, but we got to be careful. We end up ball watching, taking a penalty because we stuck ball watching instead of realizing that there's a guy on the crease, right? This is another example where we're all just sitting ball watching. Listen, we lost the ball on that whistle, right? Now we've picked up the ball. Still nobody's moving. Now we're running. Right? I'm going to take that one back. The moment we hear that whistle, We know we don't have the ball anymore, right? We know based on our understanding of the rules of lacrosse, that's the goalie's ball. As soon as this first whistle goes off, right here, we should all be reacting. We don't have the ball anymore. We have to get back on defense. Look, I'm going to put a timestamp on that. 39 seconds at the bottom here. We're going to see how long it takes us to react to that. Still not. There we go. Now we're reacting. Now we're running. That's 47 seconds. That's almost a full 10 seconds after the whistle, after we lose the ball, before we react. Right? And this guy gets an excellent catch, runs it in. We're hustling back. We're making it back, but it still ends up being a decent opportunity for him because we're letting him behind. I think this next clip is another one where we end up just watching. Look where he picked up that ball. He's going back. We end up a little loose ball here. Look at this guy's got the ball right now. What are we doing? We're watching. What ends up happening? We're watching. Ball watching. And look at, he's running the wrong way. Look at how we all start walking up with him. We're all walking up. These guys are still behind us. Right? Walking up. Look at this guy in front of the net way behind us. That's a huge danger. We get lucky on this play. But we really got to be careful about when there's guys behind us. I think this is another one where we're just slow to respond. Right here, they get the ball. They have the ball. We're standing around. We're watching. We're kind of slowly backpedaling. We got one person back right now. We can't have that. That's the only time there's teams are scoring on us right now. Is on this transition from offense to defense. It's the only time they're scoring on us. Because again, we lose ball and we're just kind of casually going back. They have 3 guys in our zone. We only have 2. Here's going to be another one where we lose ball on possession on the whistle. Yeah, right there. We've lost possession. It's their ball. What are we doing? We've got 3 of us slowly, casually backwalking with a guy behind us. We can't have that. This one turns into a goal, I think. Right? Look, as soon as this whistle goes, we know we got to get back. We need to be getting back. We need to be looking behind us too. We're taking way too long to respond to losing the ball. This transitions into our next point, which is just general ball watching on defense. So we're seeing that when we're transitioning back to defense, we're ball watching and we're just letting them run behind us. The same thing is happening here when we're just playing general defense, right? I want us to see what we're doing. We're just watching the ball right now. Where's all of our eyes are looking this way. Oh. We're looking this way. We're all just ball watching. There's a guy wide open way over here, right? As this play develops, we're kind of slowly creeping in on the ball. We should have been on that guy. We should have been able to intercept that pass. Same thing here. Take that back 3 seconds. Look, ball watching. This is Connor's guy, so that's okay. Or I think that's Connor. That's your guy, but still. And ball watching, right? And this guy's attacking the net as we're doing that. We got to identify if we're one of these 2 guys. This guy's a threat. I should be coming up and stepping up to this guy, not worrying about the ball right now. Right? Now we identify it, we go over there, we get lucky, they missed the pass. But that could have been a really good scoring opportunity. So we've got to be really careful. Head on a swivel. I've got a good example here coming up eventually. I don't know which clip is a good example, but Watch this one play out. Again, what are we doing? We're all ball watching. Look at how we collapse on that ball. We get lucky here because we come out with the ball and we get a little transition. But I'm going to go back. I want to say right here, what happens if we don't get the ball? Right? We're looking here, and we have two people here going to our net behind us. We can't have that. That's giving them opportunities, right? We got to have a head on a swivel. We got to know where their team is at all times. So we got to stop ball watching. Got to be really careful on the ball watch. Again, we get lucky. I'm going to let this clip play out because I think we get a nice little goal. Great pass. Attacking across the crease. Good protective stick. Stick up, shoot. Great play. But still, we got to be careful of that ball watching. Same here. We get the ball back, but I want to show this spot. Right here, we got these two guys just ball watching right now, right? But this has an excellent example. I want us all to watch. I don't know who this is down low. Right here. But they're doing an excellent job right now of not ball watching. But their head is on a swivel. They still know what's happening with the ball, but they've got their guy. They identify that this guy's a threat down here. They have their guy, and they're covering their guy. Let's take this back a step. We'll see after this goal. Clip starts right away. Watch. Watch. Head's turning. He's looking. He's turning back. He's holding on. He's feeling his teammate. He's looking at the ball. He knows exactly where he is at all times, right? I like this so much I had to go back and zoom in on it. I spent 10 minutes trying to learn how to do this in a video editor. Look at his head. Look at his head that whole time. Right? Look at how many times. I'm going to pause that. Look at how many times he's got a stick on the guy and he's doing this. Look, 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 look. He probably does that little head swivel, I don't know, 5 times. Right here. He's looking back. He looks back at the guy. Looks up. Looks back at his guy. Looks up. Looks back at his guy. Look at that head movement. And that whole time, he's making contact. He knows where his guy is. Right? That's what we need. We need you guys head on a swivel. You know, we got to be paying attention to the ball, but we really got to be paying attention to the guys who are off ball, because that's our biggest threat at that moment. Right? So here is a little short-handed ball watching, but look at how we creep up. Look at how we're creeping up right there, right? Go back. Where's our threats right now? These guys are way out here. Not much of a threat. We've got one guy right on the crease right here. That's a pretty big threat. We got one guy in a good shooting position. He's a pretty good threat. We got one guy here that we're identifying as going to be a threat, so we're on him. But we end up staring at the ball, and we end up creeping up away from these guys. Look, we're staring at the ball. We're creeping up. We're creeping up. We're creeping up. Look at this guy. Look at all the space he has. Remember we talked about if they give you space, take the space. If he steps up here, gets a pass, it's a really easy shot for him, right? And that's because we're stuck ball watching. We got to have our head on a swivel. We got to be looking. Where's their team? Where are their threats? Right? There you go. You did a decent job there. You have to, when we do the bad, we acknowledge the bad. But when we do the good, we also have to acknowledge the good. What happens here is you identify that this person's coming in to be a threat, so we step up on that person. That's fine. That's good. We're identifying. Oh, look at that. Pass is going that way. I'm going to get up there and be a nuisance. That's perfect. We got to do that. We got to be acknowledging where are their teammates at any moment. And this one's here. Ball watching on loose balls. This is happening too. This is a great example here where we're kind of just standing close. We could get involved, but we're just standing there looking. We got one guy trying to pick up the loose ball, and we got two guys just kind of looking, right? You're close. Just one more step in and get involved. And same thing here. If you want to get involved, get involved. If not, you got to get back and play defense on one of these guys who are going to be open. If they're thinking, they should be running to the middle of the floor because there's middle of the floor is wide open right now, because we're just sitting here ball watching this guy. We're sitting here ball watching. We end up taking a penalty because we're not getting involved. We're just staring at them, ball watching, right? So that transitions into my next topic that I want to talk about, which is I just want you guys getting involved. I want you guys getting aggressive on loose balls. I want to encourage you guys to make mistakes, right? The only way you've heard me say lots, the only way to learn is to make mistakes, right? We can't get better at carrying the ball if we don't pick up the ball, right? We can't get better at throwing, passing, if we don't try and pass. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to miss passes. I want you guys trying to make those passes, right? It's the only way to learn. It's the same thing we talked about with your math tests, right? You don't always get the math problem right the first time, but you practice it a few times so that the next time you come back to it, you've got it aced. But you can't do it if you don't practice it, right? So, in this case, we got one person going for the loose ball. We got everybody else just kind of standing around watching, right? It's a 2v1 at this point. They're giving her. They're trying. We end up drawing a penalty at this point because that person's getting so involved, right? I want you guys aggressive like that. We also can't just be standing outside on the edge, looking from the outside. This is another one where we're kind of just standing there waiting for something to happen. And then something happens and we're gone, right? We want to get a little bit involved a little bit early, right? Same thing here. This is a great example. I think this is Jack. They identify, hey, this is an opportunity. My teammate needs help. I'm going in to help, right? This is extremely positive behavior. I like this. I'm identifying, I need to get in there. It's a little bit unfortunate. This is right at the shot clock, but that's all right. We're getting involved, right? This is off the draw. This is an example off the draw where we're just kind of standing around waiting for the guy who's doing the draw to come out with it, right? But we got to get in there. As soon as that whistle goes, that ball pops out, we got to be in there helping him out. Look, they have 3 guys helping. We got just Harry all by himself. He happens to come out with the ball because he's pretty good. But I want you guys to see this is an example of what happens when we do get involved. Look at, boom, picks it up, breakaway. Right? Wonderful. That all starts because we run in there and we get involved. We don't wait for that ball to come to us. We go to the ball, right? Be aggressive. This is another one. We come in there, we pick up the ball, we bobble it a little bit here, but that's fine. What do we talk about? We're okay with us making mistakes. I want you guys getting in there, getting that ball, right? Picks it up, gets a little blown up there, but gets up, fights through it, and look, this turns into an opportunity on the other side of the floor. Right off the crossbar. So close, so close. But I really like this play because of how aggressive he was. He said, identified, I want to get involved. I want to get on that loose ball. Dives head in there, picks up the loose ball, tries to make the pass. Hey, we made a mistake. That's all right. We picked it up. We didn't get flustered. We turned right back around. We picked up that loose ball. We got that pass off. And then we toughed it out. Great play on that one. This one we got to be a little bit careful. We're kind of just standing waiting for the ball to come to us in this play, right? This is what it looks like when we're not getting aggressive on those loose balls. The ball's popping off the boards. We're just kind of watching the ball, right? Look at their guy gets an excellent opportunity because we're waiting the ball. Look again, we're waiting for the ball to come to us. And we end up not getting the ball. We got a call on this one. He goes through the crease. This is an excellent example. Riley does a really good job here. I believe this is Riley over here. And I think it's Harrison with the ball in the corner. We're shorthanded, which is, we're just trying to kill time. You can see our penalty on the clock over here. We're just trying to kill time. But Riley does a great she identifies that Harry needs some help in the corner. He's a little bit stuck. So she runs in. She's trying to set a few picks here. Trying to give him some space. Okay, getting involved. Setting some picks. Perfect. Giving him a little bit of space. Getting back in there. Sets another pick. Trying to get Harry out of there. Ball pops loose here. She picks it back up. Takes a little bit of a hit. Takes another hit. Ooh, takes a bit of a big hit there. But gets up. Runs back out, drew a penalty in that play. We were getting involved, which is exactly what we want. Perfect plays. Okay. Next concept is one-on-one defense. I had to go to our U11s to get good examples of one-on-one defense. I didn't see any good examples in that play of one-on-one defense from us. We're being a little bit too aggressive on taking the stick away. We're lunging at guys. We're trying to blow guys up when we just need to play sound one-on-one defense. So you guys have heard me talk about the danger zone, right? How much easier it is to score from in front of the net, right? And we're going to do some red lines here, right? Coming up here, coming out here. This area here, right, is the danger zone. We don't want to let anybody in this kind of front of the net area, right? But if somebody's got the ball down here and they shoot at our goalie, there's pretty little chance they're going to score, right? So we're always trying to just drive them down to the corner, right? On defense, all we're trying to do is keep them away from the middle, drive them down to the corner. Jordy, one of our U11s, probably one of the best I've seen so far of us doing this, right? So what are we doing? We're not lunging. We're not trying to take the stick away. We've got a 30-second shot clock, right? In this case, I think we've got 21 seconds left. We just got to try and kill 21 seconds or force them to take a bad shot, right? So when we're playing one-on-one defense, we're getting low athletic position. We're not coming out to them. We're kind of meeting them. Let them come to me so I can direct the direction that they're going, right? I'm not hitting them. I'm directing them. You're going to see Jordy. He's going to do some concepts like we talked about in practice. Playing high. He's going to play defense. He's not going to play defense between the player and the goalie. He's going to come up. He's going to step up high so that he's a wall here forcing the player down and away, right? Down and away to the corner. Jordy does an excellent job. You're going to see, look, he gets low. He identifies, plays him high, pushes him down to the corner. Look at where he took that shot. Okay? Look at this shot. Look at the angle. There's no angle on that shot, right? Perfect. That's what we want. Our goalie's making that save every time. Hopefully we're coming back out with it on the loose ball. I don't know if that happens in this case or not because we're going on to the next clip. Is again Jordy on a little bit of a breakaway. But you're going to see Jordy's not coming out to hit him. He's just running with him and he's driving him to the boards and driving him down to the corner. Right? He's running with him, driving him. A little bit of a shoulder there. Keeps driving him to the corner, driving to the corner, driving to the corner. And look, he took a shot from way out here. That's fine. That's perfect. We get the ball back after a shot like that, right? Hopefully. In this case, their teammate went to the corner and got the ball. But that's all right. That's perfect one-on-one defense. And then this right here is probably the best example I've seen so far of one-on-one defense. I want you to see Jordy. Look, sizes them up, gets them ready, and he just drives them to the boards. Keeps pushing them outside. Stays with them. Just being a pest. He actually manages to be such a pest that a teammate comes in, helps him. They knock the ball out. They get the ball back. Make a nice little pass here, and they're gone. Right? So that's what we need to see on one-on-one defense, right? I saw way too many examples on our game of guys, we're just lunging. We're trying to take the ball away from them. We're trying to smack their stick, and when we go to try and smack their stick, they just get around us and they're gone. Or we try and blow them up, they bounce off us a little bit, they get around us and they're gone, right? We just need sound defense, keep them outside, right? Keep them away from the middle of the floor. Don't let them in the middle of the floor. Push them out and push them down. Does that make sense? Last clip here coming up. This one's going a little longer than I thought I edited it. I saw us do this a few times, but I only took one clip of it. I think it's pretty obvious, but I like us setting picks, but I don't want us to just set picks for the sake of setting picks. This is an example here you're going to see. We start with the ball in the corner here, roll around behind the net. The defender's kind of standing in front of the crease here. We're kind of a little bit stuck. We can't come around here because he's going to cut us off. We can't come around here. He's going to cut us off, right? So we end up getting a little bit stuck behind the net. And we identify that, and this guy comes running down to set the pick. But if I go back a couple of seconds, before we do that, just pause right here. We don't need to come down and set that pick. We can just make that pass. Look at how wide open he is right now, right? So instead of coming down for that pick, we just make that pass, and that ball's up the floor, and we're good to go, right? Look at how much extra time we're taking. Running the ball up the floor, we got to be careful. We almost got a moving pick there, right? But don't just set a pick for the sake of setting a pick, right? We got to think about when we're doing that. Okay, what is this? What is the purpose of this pick right now, right? Last thing I want to talk about here, we're going to start introducing the concept of accountability. So we got to talk about what it means to be accountable in a team environment, right? So when we're part of a team, we all have jobs and responsibilities that we're trying to work towards to achieve a common goal, right? So in sports, we want to win games. Ultimately, we want to try and win championships. But that's a pretty broad goal, right? How do we narrow that focus so we better achieve those goals of winning games, winning championships, right? At a high level, we want to try and become the best team and the best players that we can be, right? So we need to ultimately continue to learn and continue to improve. So generally accepted best practice right now is setting goals for ourselves and trying to achieve those goals, right? So what I want us to work on is that we're going to come into each game individually as a person. You're going to come in and you're going to set a goal for yourself, right? So what does that mean? What does that look like? What is a good goal to come into a game? I don't want our goals to be results-based. So, for example, I don't want us to have, okay, my goal is to get 3 goals this next game. It's not a very good goal to look to achieve. It's too results-based. Or like having a goal like I want to make 3 big hits this next game, or putting a number on something it's not generally what you're trying to achieve, right? I want your goals to be focused on something more along the lines of being more involved and being and learning something, right? So if you want to get better at loose balls, you're gonna say, okay, my goal, I want to get better at loose balls. So my goal is going to be, I want to be the most aggressive player out on the floor when it comes to loose balls. I want to be running into every corner, trying to pick up as many loose balls as I can. That's my personal goal, right? Or maybe your goal, coach was just talking about one-on-one defense. This next game, I'm going to come into the game and I'm going to say, hey, I really want to focus on my one-on-one defense this game. I really want to try and play sound defense. That's going to be my goal, is to focus on my one-on-one defense. Or, coach talked about head on a swivel, stop ball watching. My goal this next game is going to be that I want to try and, on every defensive set, just work on that head on a swivel, looking at where my guy is, looking where the ball is, trying to keep track of both at the same time, right? That's the type of goals that I want to see, right? It's not results-based. You don't achieve that goal by, getting a certain percentage of score or something, right? You achieve that goal more subjectively. So next game, I want us all to come into the game, think about a personal goal before you come into the dressing room. Kind of try and come up with a personal goal. If you can't think of a goal, feel free to talk to your parents, talk to teammates, come talk to coach and I. We'll all help you out. And it's totally okay for multiple people to have the same goal, right? We saw us talk today about if they give you space, take space, right? There might be 6 or 7 of us that are looking at that going, yeah, I can do a better job of taking space if they give me space. So this next game, I want to be in front of the net more often. I want to try and utilize that space better, right? There might be 5 or 6 of us that aren't at that level yet and want to more focus on loose balls or more focus on our defensive side of things, right? So that's okay. So coming back around to the accountability side of things, right? So as a team, we have to hold ourselves accountable to these things, right? And this being accountable as we learn, as we grow and mature, is a skill that we kind of develop, right? It's a skill no different than passing and catching the lacrosse ball, right? We have to develop the skill to hold ourselves accountable, to appropriately hold our teammates accountable, and to accept criticism, right? So there's different skills required to holding yourself accountable. Skill number 1 is you have to be okay with making mistakes, right? I've heard me talk about it earlier. I encourage you guys to make mistakes, right? It's okay to make mistakes. We're not holding ourselves accountable to mistakes, right? It's not appropriate for me to be mad at you for trying to pick up a loose ball and not picking it up, right? That's us learning skills, right? So it's important for us to accept that I miss the net sometimes. I can't get mad when I miss the net. I can't get mad at my teammates when they miss the net, right? That's not holding people accountable. Skill 2 is learning to communicate appropriately, right? So how do I hold my teammate accountable? Appropriately. So what does that look like? What doesn't that look like? It doesn't look like we're getting mad at them. We're not bullying them for not doing things, right? It is appropriate to say, hey, you came into this game, you had the goal of getting involved in loose balls, and that last shift, I saw you just standing 5 feet away from the loose ball battle. You got to get in there, you got to get involved. And then that kind of transitions into, we have to also accept that criticism, right? We have to build the skills to be able to accept that our teammates are going to try and hold us accountable. And our coaches and I myself am going to try and hold myself accountable too, right? So I have to accept that criticism and say, yep, hey, I made that mistake. That's okay. I acknowledge that I made that mistake. I'll do better next time, right? That's how we hold ourselves accountable. That's how we hold our teammates accountable, right? It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to acknowledge that we made those mistakes. It's not okay to get mad at our teammates for making mistakes or calling somebody out like that, right? But it's okay to say, hey, hey, that happened. This is how we can do it better. I agree. Yep, let's do it. And learn from those mistakes, right? So we're going to work on, as a team, kind of introducing the concept of accountability. So come into the next game with some goals. Have some fun at it. And we'll see you guys next time.